should be doing that.
Hey guys, I see Brian Gamble came into the room, and since Brian, how you doing, brother? Somebody was talking bad about you earlier, and I kind of called him out, and the assumption, the dots he was trying to make is Brian Gamble was there on J6 and didn't get arrested, is not being prosecuted, not being charged, and he and General Flynn are inside trying to work against Trump. So obviously I didn't let that stand, but I'm glad to see you up on the stage.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, you know, these funny people just pop out of nowhere sometimes and make these interesting allegations. Yeah, we're working so hard against Trump. I just actually got to Selma, North Carolina here, and probably will be hanging out with the Trumps here. I don't know, tonight or tomorrow, but in any event, I find it interesting. Please don't tell Donald Trump that I'm working against him, you know, or Eric or Junior. That would just break their hearts. But yeah, that's, you know, I got into a little back and forth on a chat today too with somebody. It's like the J6 hive has been kicked, and well, if you were at the Capitol on January 6th, then you must have been an insurrection, or you must have been a Fed or something, because you didn't get arrested. It's like, okay, well, based on that logic, you know, there'd be 1 million people in the DC gulags, I guess. I mean, I don't even know. I guess the guy got in trouble at J6, and you know,
yeah,
and
I
was
guess
like,
he's got a deferred 5 did he say 5-month thing? And my question to him is, oh, so you're upset that more people haven't been prosecuted?
yeah,
No.
I mean, I'm sorry that you decided to do whatever you did to get charged. I mean, all I can speak of is what I experienced personally, and the reason I went to the Capitol on January 6th is because I wanted to experience it personally, because it wouldn't have been my first Patriot March. I've been involved with the big Tea Party March on, what was it, 9/12 of 2014. I've been involved in a lot of Patriot marches, and the first thing, it's just like war. The first casualty is the truth when they cover these events. And, you know, there are people like me that show up and recount history accurately for everybody else because, you know, they're not going to tell the truth. And the Capitol is no exception. And then they come up with the funny things like, why did you wear a helmet? Why did you wear tactical gear? Why did you do, they have the 5,000 whys. And it don't matter how many times you answer the whys, it's not good enough. They still want to know why. It's like, well, you know, camouflage. I'm not a camouflage kind of guy, especially in the city. You know, you kind of look stupid. Personally, this is my feelings. If you're trying to look tactical in the city, you shouldn't wear camouflage. So it was either camouflage or black on Amazon. And I was like, well, shit, I don't want to wear camouflage. So I ordered a black shirt. And then it's like, oh, it's going to be -2 out. And I said, well, you know, I'm from Southwest Florida. I should probably wear something over my mouth like a mask so my lips don't crack and break off my face. You know, but to them, that's tactical. You know, it's just, you go down the list of these ridiculous claims. And I said, then call the FBI. I've already spoke to the FBI, which is weird if I am FBI. I spoke to the FBI because I released a video. I think it was the very first video that challenged the narrative that went viral. And the next day they were at my house and I asked them, so you saw my video? And they acknowledged, yeah, we saw your video. So, you know, I'm not hiding anything. I put it all out there, and, you know, whether or not they want to charge me for trespassing, I guess, I don't know. I mean, I know there's a lot of upset people that everybody isn't in prison, you know, but, you know, I don't know what to tell them. Sorry, you know, try harder. I don't know. I guess he said the FBI says we're no longer accepting tips on Brian Gamble. I think that's funny, because the agents that came to my house, they were kind of laughing. They were kind of like, you got a lot of people that don't like you, don't you? And I was like, yeah, you know, story of my life. But yeah, it was kind of like a joke. They were looking for tips on the bomber, the guy that left the bombs around. I was like, I don't fucking hang out with terrorists. How the hell would I know? You know, so it was like a cordial conversation, and they left, and, you know, that was it. That was the end of it. You know, they didn't arrest me there on the spot, and it upsets some people for some reason. So whatever. Yeah, so I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to say hello to whoever that was.
Well, he said you blocked him, so.
Oh yeah, you know.
I can see why.
Well, I give him a chance to ask. You know, I've even had conversations with the insurrection hunters, and honestly, the people that are called the insurrection hunters are actually more approachable than the people that are supposedly on our side. You know, it kind of doesn't make any sense, but at least they ask a question, you answer it, and they say, oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. They ask a question, you answer. Oh, okay, and then they go away. These people are like they refuse to accept anything other than I'm conspiring to overthrow the government with General Flynn and take out Trump so Flynn could be supreme leader of the world or some shit like that. And that's the narrative that they just keep sticking themselves to. And I mean, it is a joke. I don't know if you saw the interview with Eric Trump. I kind of was laughing at that because it's like, well, I didn't want the cat out of the bag yet, but Eric kind of, I would assume, dispelled rumors with Jackson Lawmeyer on stage. What was the other day? But no, apparently we're still, hard at taking Trump out, and they're sticking to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, everybody, we got a Fed up here. If you want to ask a Fed any questions, clearly a Fed here.
FDD hour. Let's do it. Yeah, but but like a person that hides, I hear somebody's talking shit, and I come running. Where they at? Where they at? But they always disappear. It is what it is.
Yeah, I kind of called him out before we gave him a mic and just said, and it's somebody I was following because he's a J6er, right? And but he posted or quote posted the space with a bizarre statement. So I just kind of, you got to explain this statement. And in the statement, you weren't even included, but he took it from that to you to General Flynn and I'm like, man, you're connecting some dots that I'm just not seeing.
Yeah, I think he follows this fish named Ariel, but what can you do when the crazies come out at night? But yeah, I mean, it's something that I've talked about ad nauseum on many different interviews. And, it's like no matter how many times you answer the question, a person comes into information for the first time from these crazies and they just start asking the questions all over again. I'm just like, listen, at this point, every space I've been on is recorded. Go back and listen to it. I don't know what else to tell you. But, I believe the election was stolen. If I was in front of a jury looking at a DC judge, I would say the election was stolen. And I would give him the 500 talking points about how I personally was involved in uncovering election fraud with the America Project. But I don't know. I don't understand it. They're just so hell-bent. Maybe he spent the night in jail and, his boyfriend left him. I don't know. I don't know what the hell these people go through personally, but it doesn't mean everybody that went to the Capitol to protest a stolen election was somehow a Fed just because it didn't get locked away. Maybe it's because I didn't go into the Capitol building. Maybe it's because I didn't swing at a cop. Maybe it's because of a lot of things. The only altercation that I actually got into on January 6th, and this was kind of a funny thing, was actually with a protester. I helped these police put this fence in place after I came down from these set of steps. And this guy was squaring up against me and he poked me really hard on the back, and I turned around and he started yelling at me, and I couldn't hear him because I did have my helmet on and my ski mask. And I said, "What?" And he said, "Are you a UN guy?" Now, mind you, I had a big American flags on my helmet, and I gave him a little friendly boop to the face with my helmet as I pointed at my flag and says, "Does it look like I'm a fucking UN guy to you?" And it looked like he had something trickling out of his nose. I'll just say that. And he kind of backed up and, people kind of pushed him out of the way. I said, what an asshole, but that was the only real altercation that, I actually got involved with that whole entire day. I was trying to be in the middle of helping down protesters and helping the cops, keep things in orders. But there were a lot of great cops at the Capitol Hill Police. There were a lot of great cops, but I just leave it at this. There were people that went there to look for a fight on both sides, in the Capitol Hill Police Department and on the protester side. And I believe some of those protesters were probably, put there. They're planted there to agitate the crowd. I have no way of knowing any of that stuff. I saw Ray Epps. I saw Ray Epps walking around trying to talk people. He never talked to us, but I saw all of that stuff. But yeah, I leave it at that. Bad people on both sides that day. And the people responsible were the people that knew there was going to be a big protest, but they failed to secure the Capitol. And not only that, like those pallet of bricks they leave around the cities for these riots, guess what they left around the Capitol building that day? They were actually constructing, the scaffolding for the inauguration, and they left all the connector pipes in these massive bags laying everywhere. It's like, come on, somebody set the stage for this to happen, just like they do in these cities, and who it is, whatever. But yeah, bad people on both sides looking for a fight. 99% of the cops and 99% of the protesters were awesome, patriotic. I mean, I seen police praying with protesters as a bad cop was throwing concussion grenades over the head of the good cop into a crowd indiscriminately. I mean, but again, this is why I knew I needed to be at the Capitol so I could tell people about my firsthand experience, up close experience of what I saw that day. And, you know, and that's just all I have with it. But, you know, I released a video, and unfortunately, when they started lobbing these, you know, this ordinance into a relatively peaceful crowd, I just ran for my gas mask because I knew what was coming. It wasn't my first you know, event where I've seen what happens when, you know, they start getting out the canisters, you know. So, you know, unfortunately for me, when I went to put on my gas mask, my GoPro started recording my chin, and that was it. I was like, all of my exciting footage I could have got, I thought I got, but I didn't get it. I'm sorry to disappoint the people that want like some box office hit or something. But, you know, I released the video. It's out there. Tim Hart was there with me. He released the video, you know, numerous times, but it is what it is. That's all I got. You know, I wish they wouldn't have stolen the election, and you know, it wouldn't have happened. It's just kind of where I'm at with it.
Brian, I'd certainly love to do another space with you and allow you to tell your story of January 6th from start to finish if you'd be interested in that. And then as well as you're telling your story, we could throw your video up for people to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Insurrection Hunters actually did a really good job of collecting footage, because the footage that I didn't put in the video, I remember some people were just like, hey, can we use this footage or whatever? I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. You know, like I just gave it Patrick Byrne dropped a lot of it. Raw story, like people have bits and pieces of the story. I just didn't compile it all into one, you know, video to release. But yeah, I mean, I'd be more than happy, and I'd be happy to dissect every video the Insurrection Hunters put together like I did for them. And the funny thing is they kind of said, well, you know, it does kind of look like the guy's helping the cops out and these fallen protesters. So they kind of like dropped it and left me alone. But it's like these people that are allegedly on our side, you know, that are really virally, you know, upset for whatever reason. But yeah, I'd be happy to.
Awesome. All right. Well, I sent you a follow. I'll certainly slide into your DMs. We're going to have Vim Miller back up.